It's time for the Scott Buening Show. Learn all about Southridge Raider football. This week's show is sponsored by Milligan Communications, Street Dreams, and the Southwestern Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Grosvenor Communications. Go Raiders!
You dream it, we create it at Street Dreams. Custom paint, fabrication, stereos, wheels, tires, and more. We're also your authorized Sinister Sound dealer. Street Dreams, 317-624-1000, where you expect quality and get.
Wanting to scan those old videos, films, or audio to DVD? We'll look no further than Milligan Communications. We can also scan your old pictures, slides, and negatives to picture quality as well. With thousands of happy customers, let Milligan Communications help put your treasured memories on a digital media. Call Milligan Communications today at 812-630-2449. Milligan Communications, capturing your yesterdays.
Hey everyone, Joey Chestnut here, world champion competitive eater. I follow Southwest Indiana Sports Network, and if you're hungry for sports, you should follow them too.
And welcome to this week's Scott Buening Show. And Scott, last week you took on the Cords of Central Panthers and you came away with a 49-21 victory. Why don't you recap that game for us?
Yeah, Corden has a tremendously explosive offense. They've got some tremendous athletes. Their quarterback is extremely good. So we knew we had our work cut out for us, especially defensively. And, they do a lot of things. Just they very impromptu with their offense. They do a lot of just laterals as the play goes on, and a lot of just weird stuff that I've never seen in all my years of coaching. But, bottom line, I felt like our kids really played hard. I thought they gave great effort, and, that's a team that scored a lot of points against everybody they've played this year. So we felt good about our defensive performance. Offensively, thought we were very efficient. We moved the ball well. We were able to run the ball fairly well, but they had a lot of guys around the line of scrimmage, and we were able to hit some explosive plays in the pass game, which was really important. And so ultimately, just glad to get that win and move on to another week.
I was going to say 346 yards rushing with an average of 9.4 yards per carry. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. I think Levi Nykum had a couple, two really long touchdown runs, and we stayed pretty efficient for the most part, and then we were able to hit a couple big plays in the passing game, and and we needed to. Like I said, that offense is as explosive as anyone we've seen this year, and so putting points on the board sure made things a little bit better.
And always talk about like Miles Kirkhoff being a big play man. You had a lot of big play men in that last game.
Yeah, we did. Carter Harris had a couple big plays, as I mentioned. Levi Nykum had a couple in the run game, and also had a really big play in the pass game that he made a really, really tough catch that got us inside the 10, and that was really important. And it's that ability again to have guys doing so many different things and having that depth has been a big help for us this year, and we're going to need that moving forward.
And the great thing is when you have a leader like Reed Schrader, and he did average 4.1 yards per carry, which is great. But for him to be your lowest because everyone else had a higher average, that just speaks of the depth of the Southern Raiders football team right now.
Well, and it's important. They really loaded up the box, and and really tried to take Reed away, in a lot of the things we were doing, and they did a pretty nice job of that. And, and I think it's important, especially this time of the year when you're playing some really good ball clubs, that, you have the versatility you need. You have the ability to go to different people and different schemes, based on whatever it is you're getting from a defense. And that's extremely valuable. And, and some nights, it might be Reed that we've got to ride. Other nights it might be other guys. And we feel confident with the guys we have to be able to do that.
And we'll be back on the Scott Buening Show right after these messages from our sponsors. You're listening to the Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Brooks Communications.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
This is the most important, amazingest game ever played in the universe. The pitcher is fierce. Danny Roberts is up at bat. And the crowd goes wild. He just won the game. Let's go! Yes!
We protect the car you drive.
Go get him, Danny.
And the dreams that drive you. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
Hey everyone, Joey Chestnut here, world champion competitive eater. I follow Southwest Indiana Sports Network, and if you're hungry for sports, you should follow them too.
And we're back on the Scott Buening Show.
And we're joined by WBDC Sports Director and play-by-play man for the Southwood Raiders, Kurt Kuxell. How are you doing today, Kurt?
Doing great, Joe.
And, last week was a great game for the Raiders, and as they beat the Corydon Central, they beat them 49-21. What do you think about that game?
Southridge played really well. Corydon had a high-powered offense, and it took all they could handle to get that under control. But in the end, they were able to make some stops. The offense was once again very good for Southridge. They moved the ball through the air and on the ground, and they just had an overall really good game.
Yeah, and if you look at the stats, you can tell that they did. I mean, they had a big day from Levi Nycomb, and and as I told Coach Buening earlier, anytime you average 9.4 yards per carry, you got to have a good night.
Yeah, he busted loose for a couple of 53-yard touchdown runs, and again, with all the guys that they have in that backfield, you can't focus on, one in particular. So guys like Levi Nycomb and a few of those other guys, if they're going to spy on Reed Schrader, they're going to have some big games.
Yeah, that's what I laughed at. I looked at it and said, looked at the stats and thought, Reed maybe that didn't have his regular game. Well, he still averaged four yards a game or carry. So
yeah, he was good too.
Yeah. So, and it looked like they had a great blend of. They also Hudson Allen passed the ball for 162 yards. So I mean, it was a very good night all around.
Yeah, the offensive line did a great job of protecting Hudson. Again, when you run the ball so well, it keeps linebackers back. It keeps the guys on the back end of those defenses honest, and you can really do some things offensively, especially in the passing game. And most teams in Indiana that gain 346 yards in a game have at least one guy with at least 10 carries, and the Raiders did not have anyone with 10 carries. Oh, once again, they were mixing it up with Miles Kirkhoff, Emilio Arroyo, Ryan Curry. Hudson runs the ball. Reed, we mentioned Levi Nycomb. They got a crew that can carry the ball, and they run it from a lot of different angles and a lot of different looks up front that allows them to do some things in the backfield. And it's been a good offense so far.
And it looks like here and later in the season, Carter Harris has really come on as a receiver for the Raiders too.
Yeah, usually the tight ends are basically blockers that they have been down through the years in this offense, and it's their main job. It's their first job, but he's very athletic. He runs well, and they've been able to find the middle of the field with him. And he's been doing a great job. He's got good hands and, again, good speed. And he's been a good two-way player, both as a blocker and as a receiver.
And this Friday, the Raiders will take on Heritage Hills. What do you think about that game?
Well, it's going to be a tough game. Heritage Hills went down and beat Charlestown. They're a tough team. They're well coached. Coach Wilkerson's a really good coach, and they got a great staff, and they just play good football. You have to beat them. They won't beat themselves. They, again, they're good up front. They've got good strength. They've moved some guys around here in the last couple of weeks since Southbridge played them in week 8. Whether that's good enough to, cut that gap that was 35-7 earlier, who knows? But I expect just all-out brawl between these two teams for the sectional championship.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have been drawn up any better for those two to play in the sectional finals.
No, it's, you're close proximity, PAC, big school, small school rivals, a lot of history between the two schools. You cut down on the road trip, the fans will be able to come down to the game, and it should be a lot of fun.
And and I know the winner of this game wouldn't take on the winner of Section 30 until semi-state, but in that Gibson Southern got upset last week by Owen Valley, and in a surprise, Pike Central will also be playing for a sectional championship.
Yeah, Owen Valley's really good. They have a solid team. They have a good senior class. They are well put together, and it didn't surprise me that they beat Gibson Southern. It did, but it didn't. And Pike Central, that's awesome what they've done in the last 2 weeks. And Coach Kelly Brashear is a good coach, and I can tell when Southbridge went down and played Pike, I can tell a bad team that's not well coached, not well put together, and can't run a play, can't line up. And Pike Central was not that. And they have not been under Coach Brashear and a couple of those other guys before him. It's just tough to play in the PAC week in and week out. But those guys know what they're doing, and I credit those kids for buying in. Coach Brashear was a great player back in the day, and he was a good coach at Washington, under bad circumstances. But those guys believe in him, and they try to execute. And they've got a couple of players that are, college D3 type of guys, and it's been great to watch them win those 2 games that they've won. But Friday will be a tall order.
You're listening to the Scott Buening Show on the Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Brosper Communications. We'll be back right after these messages from our sponsors.
Hey everyone, Joey Chestnut here, world champion competitive eater. I follow Southwest Indiana Sports Network, and if you're hungry for sports, you should follow them too.
You dream it, we create it at Street Dreams. Custom paint, fabrication, stereos, wheels, tires, and more. We're also your authorized Sinister Sound dealer. Street Dreams, 317-624-1000, where you expect quality and get.
Wanting to scan those old videos, films, or audio to DVD? We'll look no further than Milligan Communications. We can also scan your old pictures, slides, and negatives to picture quality as well. With thousands of happy customers, let Milligan Communications help put your treasured memories on a digital media. Call Milligan Communications today at 812-630-2449. Milligan Communications, capturing your yesterdays.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Show and coach this week you get to play in the sectional finals. You get to travel down to the jungle and take on the Heritage Hills Patriots. Why don't you preview that game for us?
Yeah, Heritage Hills is playing some really good football right now. They got a lot of momentum. Since we played them the first time, they've moved some people around, and I think they found a nice mix of on both on the offense and the defense. And offensively, they're very physical. They come downhill, run the ball very, very well. And they've got some good athletes in position to make plays. Defensively, they're always sound. And when we played them the first time, we had a lot of things go our way and go right. And we were happy about that and glad. But we also know that, that point total difference has no bearing or factor on this game and really wasn't indicative of how competitive that game was. And so we know what we're up against, and a very proud program, a very proud tradition, and we get to go on the road and play in the jungle, which is always a challenge. And it's one we're looking forward to, but it's and that's what a sectional championship's supposed to be. It's supposed to be between two good teams, and should be a great atmosphere Friday night.
And in the other sectional has PAC teams in it, Gibson Southern got beat last week, but Pike Central will be playing for a sectional championship.
Yeah, it's just one of the oddities of the way the IHSA tournament plays out, and and you hear a lot of things every year about seeding and stuff like that. I don't have really too much of an opinion on that kind of thing. I just know, you play who you play, and I just don't get too caught up in that. Pike Central, they've, their kids, it's easy to play and work hard and do all that stuff when you're winning and things are going well. I got respect for Coach Brashear and his program and his kids and how they've really hung in there this year. And, frankly, and I think they would all admit it too. I mean, the oddity of just the blind draw, played out in their favor, and but they took advantage of it and still beat two football teams to get to the sectional championship. And it's just the way it plays out, and and like I said, it's not something I get too caught up in that regards. And you got to beat good teams to we really. You'd like to see the best two teams in the sectional championship game, but frankly, you've got to. If you're the best and playing the best, it's going to play out. You're probably going to play out that way, and so we just we want a chance to play and a chance to do it, and we get one every year. They keep drawing us, so that's a positive. And Owen Valley, most people down here don't know much about them, but they were undefeated this year. I think very highly of Gibson Southern, but Owen Valley's got a good quality team too.
And and speaking of seeding, even if you seeded the teams, like the 4A sectional, Boonville will give you a playing Memorial in the sectional final there, and I don't think if it was seeded, those two teams would be the teams playing.
Well, they may not, and I think that's what makes it. It does generate excitement. The draw, it's nobody has a clue, how that's going to play out or come out. And so, and it's just, you just take advantage of what you've got in front of us. We all have opportunities, to go play and to go win. And, we just don't get concerned about anything outside of that. We're going to control the things we can control and go play. And, I think everybody that's still playing is really excited to still be playing.
Well, Coach, good luck this week.
All right. Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it.
And you're listening to the Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Brosberg Communications. We'll see you next week.
You have been listening to The Scott Buening Show. Join us every week to learn more about Southridge Raider football. This week's show has been brought to you by Milligan Communications, Street Dreams, and the Southwestern Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Brosmer Communications. See you next week.